Thank you all for being here, and thank you Madihan, Coaching, and all the brave passengers who are going on the Freedom Flotilla number 2 and on the American boat to Gaza in an attempt to break the criminal siege in Gaza. I'm no lawyer, no former CIA analyst, I'm a simple Palestinian. I'm from Gaza. My family is from Gaza. I actually have lived in the U.S. now more than I lived in Gaza. I lived here for 7 years so far. I lived in Gaza for 6 years, but my family is still there. I have been trying to go home or at least visit my family for the past 7 years. So much have happened. I lost family members, either passing away or they were brutally murdered by the Israeli forces during Operation Cast Lead. They were shot. There were non-civilians. They were shot. They were denied medical help. They were left to bleed for hours until they died, despite pleas and calls for help, and nothing happened. Had family members having surgeries and medical procedures. I had family members getting married. I had family members having babies, and through all of this, I have not been allowed to return home and visit my family for no apparent reason. The reason for the siege in Gaza is security reasons for Israel. How me going home and visiting my family a security threat to Israel or to anyone? My father had a surgery about 3 weeks ago. He had a surgery in his spinal cord to allow him to walk properly. Well, he was lucky because he had his surgery 3 weeks ago, because if he waited for a couple more weeks, he wouldn't have been able to have the surgery, because guess what? Hospitals in Gaza have run out of anesthesia medicine. Wow, so we have hundreds of people, thousands of people who are waiting for surgeries, some of them life-saving surgeries, some of them to prevent disabilities, and they cannot have their surgeries because Israel does not allow medical equipment, medicine, life-saving medicine to enter to Gaza. Why? Israel says it's for security purposes. How is it a sick person having a surgery as any security threat to Gaza or to Israel or to anyone? After Israel attacked the Lost Freedom Flotilla in the middle of the Mediterranean in an act of international piracy, without explanation, the U.S. government and the Department of State backed Israel's story and saying they were in self-defense. How is it killing 8 Turkish citizens and 1 U.S. citizen, a 19-year-old U.S. citizen who was shot dead at point blank, and the U.S. Department of State and the U.S. government did not say anything, did not object, and did not record any complaints with the government of Israel? People on the first flotilla were called provocateurs, and people on this upcoming flotilla are being called provocateurs by Israel and unfortunately by the State Department and the U.S. government. I want to remind you and remind the world that in the 1960s, the civil rights activists and the freedom riders were called provocateurs. Now, we remember them as heroes who helped bring our country a long way and helped end the awful and abhorrent segregation policy in the American South. The activists of the ANC in South Africa who were working against the apartheid regime in South Africa, who were trying to end the apartheid regime in South Africa, were called criminals, were called provocateurs, were called terrorists. They were imprisoned, they were beaten up, they were jailed, but that did not stop them. And now we don't remember them as provocateurs, we remember them as real and proper heroes who stood up and took a stand when some of us didn't, or some of us did not wish to. the people who are going on these boats are real heroes, standing for human rights, standing for justice, standing for American values, and we should all salute them. So thank you so much.
Wow. Hear, hear.
Wow.